Hello and welcome to my video where you'll be introduced to artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms. A chance for you just to have a brief introduction to what they actually mean. So, what is AI? AI obviously stands for artificial intelligence. It's a term that we use to refer to the simulation of human intelligence in machines. What that means is that they are trying to copy the way that humans think, but actually make a machine think like that. And what we do there is that we use AI to analyze data, and then they recognize the patterns in the data, and then they adapt over time. So rather than having a strict program, because before that's what used to happen, a programmer would write a program and then that was it. It just did exactly as it was supposed to do. But the programming for AI is slightly different, because instead of creating a program that just follows exactly what you want it to do, you create a program that allows it to analyze data, right? So you put in a whole lot of data, then it analyzes it, it pulls out the patterns that it recognizes it, and then it changes the way it actually makes decisions. So over a period of time, it can actually adapt and change, not the programming itself, but it can actually change the results. So it uses machine learning algorithms, okay? And so these machine learning algorithms allow the machines to perform tasks like learning, reasoning, problem solving, and decision making. When you first use AI, it's like magic, but it is actually just science, because behind AI is a whole load of mathematical models. And that brings us to machine learning algorithms, because machine learning algorithms, they're actually the power behind AI. Like without machine learning algorithms, not much would happen. And they are, as I said earlier, they're mathematical models. And these mathematical models allow the computer to actually learn from the data. And then once it's learned from the data, recognize the patterns in the data, they can make predictions or decisions, and they don't have to be explicitly programmed for that. They will actually, all you have to do is give them the data, they will learn from the data, and they will modify and be able to make predictions and decisions based on the patterns that they recognize from the data. So in analyzing these patterns in the data, they will actually improve their accuracy over time. And what that means is that you could give it a goal, like say, for example, for a robot dog, you would say learn how to stand, okay? And then it would look at the outputs that it has, which is basically the 4 legs. And then once it looks at the 4 legs, it's like, what can I do with these legs to get myself to stand? So it knows what the desired state is, which is to stand. So what it will do is that it will actually try different variations and try to analyze the patterns in that data to improve the accuracy. So it will like say, you know, my left leg has to be 90 degrees, right 90, back legs, but right and left, they have to be 90 as well. And then it doesn't work, right? So then it learns, and so it says not 90, let's try 100. And then 100 doesn't work, and then 120, and it continues doing that, testing and playing and sort of testing and getting the results until eventually it becomes very accurate. And so in the beginning, it will take a long time for it to learn how to stand. Well, a long time, not as long as humans. Humans takes us, what, almost 2 years to learn how to stand. But a robot dog would take like maybe an hour, maybe even less to learn how to stand the first time. But then after that, it'll be able to do it within seconds. So they're able to learn from the patterns of the data and then improve the accuracy. So this is how do machine learning algorithms work. They take a mathematical model. Now these mathematical models, they're like calculations. They use like algebra and equations and things like that. And we use those to represent the real world. Now obviously these already exist in math, right? Right now there's not a lot of AI going on. It's just maths. Then you actually code it. So you actually make the code that allows it to use these models, and then it will learn from data. So you give it a whole load of data, it will analyze it, and it will recognize the patterns in that data. And once it recognizes the patterns, then it can actually make predictions on the data. And that's how you get to the last stage. And so what happens is it basically trains itself. It goes through a process called training. It's an iterative process, and it refines itself by adjusting based on its own feedback. So it tries something, right? It applies the mathematical model, right? Gets the results from that, learns from that data. So like, oh, 90 degrees is not good, let me try 100 degrees, let me try. And eventually when it finally gets to the desired state. That's it. It's learned from the data. And now, if you give it new data, it will actually be able to make predictions on that new data. So it analyzes patterns first, and then from there it can make the predictions. So that's it, just a bite-sized amount of knowledge there, and leave you with this: the more you learn, the more you grow. So unlock knowledge one step at a time. Thanks for your time.